Anyway, here we go. Another class doing my 8 review of my head. I study a little bit and stay there like I normally would, but then my next class is gonna be my firearm overview. I might get on full medical. I was gonna be talking about dental. I might end up buying a mold mouth. I can make a mold of my mouth. It's part of one of the things I want to do to show me for the mouth stuff. But anyway, here we go. This is subnetting. It's basically having a IPv6 or IPv4 setup. Subnetting to subnet a network to go through the process of subnetting, meaning you're making a section of the network for so many hosts. Basically, if I was to subnetting a network and I want 500 people over here have it, but I want them each own as their own host, and I want those to go to a specific network, I will subnet it. That because you have everyone on one network, the network will slow down. Even though they can have their own IPv6 or IPv4 address or their own IP address that designates them, it will slow down due to the traffic, the good put, the throughput, and the straight throughput will also slow down due to the fact that you have everyone on network. I know people up here know that, and I don't see how they try and check with that bull crap. Like I said, this is what I learned a long time ago. I don't even have to go to school. I just know it. Like right now, have people outside talking trash about being. Yeah, you had to be pretty close to my house illegal, but I'm not gonna waste my time. Get up, that shit through the door, bomb it, bazooka it, or CS gas, whoever it is, and then they will realize, Bip. Anyway, subnetting. When you have a large network doing more people, you subnet a network more than 254 people or 254 hosts. That's the proper word for it. And that, like I said before, that depends on how your set up or how your stuff is set up. 254 is probably the smallest amount of hosts for it. The largest one for IPv4 is 16,936. IPv6, it's about 3,300,000, etc. Yeah, I know. Congrats. Now, the formula for IPv6 and IPv4 are similar, but the bit, which is the 0 1 you take for each of those address or the designation code or the service broadcast is a bit different. In IPv4, the formula is 2n equal. N is the bit you take from the network address or the host address to get the host and add the prefix for the subnets. Then there's 2 with the, I know how to say it, Pac-Man head sign pointed facing up. Think of a greater than less than sign, but the pointed sign facing up. Basically, you 2 times that number. And it's 2 times that number minus n, meaning wherever 2 times n is, you minus that 2. Now, IPv6 is getting more crazy because you have to 2 up that number times n minus n times 2. And then if you have more on the host, you have to 2 up, Pac-Man up, whatever you call it, Pac-1 up, minus n plus n times 2 times n plus n. Yeah, that's just stupid stuff. I'll leave my notes in the freaking description. They should have put it more easy for you to understand it. I understand it. Anyway, when you have a MAC address or IP address, you have bits. You have 32 bits to make a binary, and you have 8 bits in those sections, which is an octet. Usually, the first three of your address is the network address, and the last one is your host address, or should I say, the address that designates towards your area, and then get further down as your personal host address. All right, got it. Now, after that, usually, do you want to call it, on your computer, you will not be able to see a prefix link because that prefix link is made for the administrator, internet service provider, or the administrator, internet service provider, or the security, or the filters, or the network screeners, or network monitors, or people who does service on the network. On time, a homeowner or people will see that is what they if they set up their own web server, they set up their own data center, their own cloud center or cloud storage, or they set up their own freaking website, different from web server because website just have like how do I put it? Website will have data information. A web server will have video, and the whole shebang information on it. Then there's the those are main people who see that. Unless you like in your own household and you have a bunch of kids or you have a bunch of people you don't want them on your network, you can set up that way. Then you will see the prefix thing because you have to set the prefix up for that for the other people. Or if you're a homeowner renting your place out, or if you own an apartment and you set up for the apartment to have wireless, you can do that for you. Don't have to worry about slowing your renter's network down. The reason why I know this is because apartment owners that I notice renters don't notice how to do the setup. So you're using each other network and somehow you can people get on your network, which people try to do that. And I usually mess them up for it. They say, why are you calling the landlord? I told you, stay off my stuff. Call the landlord. Stay off my stuff. Police. Okay then. What's your problem? Do something about it. Gonna get you in my car. If I walk outside today, your car is not out of the way of my parking lot, I'm going to barrel it. And yes, 3 backflips and the car will straight through a windshield. Hope you have fun with your car. I hail. Never don't. I hail. In spirit. I gotta love those windshields. Anyway, subnetting will be bad because it help your network. It will help your network lock, and you can designate it as security based on who you is and who is going to or what's coming in and out, as well as you can monitor the network. When people say don't monitor your network, that's a bullcrap lie. This is how FBI gets pedophile. This is how people hack your network. If some random muck can hack your network and watch what you do, I'm pretty sure the ISP can watch your stuff, which is why you need to buy your own modem. You might not have full security, but you at least have some that sensed out that connects to people pushback won't get in your modem. Anyway, you can even enable your network or set up the switch or set the speed for that specific host based on what they pay for, basically, which is how I know. Yeah, I go further than what this chapter has said because I already know. Anyway, uh, to subnet a network, you need to make a mask. To make a mask, you need to make a subnet mask. Have fun with that. All right. Now you know what subnetting, what's it been for. You need to know the prefix link. The prefix link has always been in either based on which one you're going to. This IPv6 and the IPv4. IPv6 is a power base of 2. IPv are 8. IPv6 is a base of 16. So the smallest link you can have is either 2, 4, and 8. 8 is normally the standard small because it can have about 16,500 something subnets in it. But that's not good. You want a prefix link of 32 so you can have 256. That basically you have more control in 256 to others just back up. To begin with, those prefix links is determined by the bit that you did not borrow. Meaning the 2 bits you can borrow from the host. That's broadcast host address based on your ISP provider and the broadcast receive address or the host receive address. Those 2 bits are important bits. No one touch those unless you're the ISP. Yeah, tell you that. Now, Next thing on that list, still prefix are determined by bits you do not borrow. In other words, whether you borrow from the host or the network. If your IPv4 address 192.1.8 something 777, you need to put the positional number down starting with first is 128.64 and all down to 0. Remember, it's a base of 2. It goes 02468 16. Then you skip up and they go to 32, then 64, then 120 to 128, or skip that 124 to go 120. I don't know. I don't care. And then you put in from 120 left all the way down to 0 right. And you do that the same thing for every bit of that. Then there's the network side, and you do the same thing for the host side. When you have bits and you want to borrow from the network, you need to put the one down with ones on it. Remember, you got to find out what each of those sections are as binary. Once you finally get that binary out, you need to one to make the bits and go back to that formula. 2 times 1 or 2 times that one of that bit that you're borrowing from the network address. And that will create a subnet of either 4, 8, or 16 or 32. And then you have your prefix link as well as each of those subnets will have hosts per subnet based on the prefix link. And then if you borrow from the host of the IPv4 address, you can end up creating more, but don't forget those 2 bits you cannot borrow. Then you can create a subnet of either 60 and 80. You already know the IPv4, now I'm going to IPv6. You know IPv6 is set as a MAC address, similar to MAC address as a network within the 6 cards. It is similar to that, but it goes from 0 to 9 and A to F. And then as the internet service provider, it goes from 0 to 20 and then A to freaking B, or not B. A is freaking real near Z. No, not many internet service provider had that. Only the bigger major companies had that. Even then, they don't use it because they don't want to get out the best internet. Plus that they cost a lot more money. I don't know why they cost more money. Plus that, um, yeah, they pretty much cost much more. There's no excuse for that because they will open more IP address, more space, and the government have their own designated IP address. This is federal IP address. No one can touch those. No one should be able to hack on those. They shouldn't be able to hack off those anyway. Like why I'm in, like my situation right now. They shouldn't be able to hack off that. No one can touch us. You can't even make one that does that because it would pop up and say, "There's a federal IPv address." This one I learned in class because I never had a need before, and it literally pop us at a federal IPv4 or IPv6 address. You can't even do it. And if you somehow manage to get by it, not knowing you made an IP address using it, it still lead you to like a freaking um federal site. That's every country that have internet. Correction, every country that have internet. Because it designated for them. You know you need to change that K list to that. With that being said, some of those you can't, then there's private business and all that stuff. But most of that stuff is public. And even if you did it, if you subnet and mask it, it would change into something entirely different. It could change the host direction. What was that word for it? Subnetting submask is basically the 255 person of IPv4, and IPv6 is usually the 00AD or 00BC and 3480 stuff. Yeah, 3480 and 00B6 and 0080. Now, the that is similar to each other of the IPv4 and IPv6 address. Same thing. There's one section number with a dot, another section number with a dot, another section number with a dot. That's 4 dots, four dots, 4 numbers. The same thing with the submask. And the same thing with IPv6. That's gonna get really crazy. And to make the submax a one that will work correctly for your network as host, you need to find out how many bits you're gonna borrow. If you're not borrowing any bits from your host address, then all your whole subnet should be 255.255.255.255. If you borrow one bit from a network person, depends on where the bit you borrow from, because the second section, it becomes 255, 255, 255, 1 slash prefix of 8. And then it gets more crazy, it become 255 down to 0 slash prefix of 16. Most people don't have to worry about that unless you own your own ISP or you're doing your own web server or anything major like that, unless you have like multiple people sign up. This like subnetting or subnet purpose is for people to get on a network and not run into traffic. So if you're being hacked, it means someone had to they had to premeditate and determine to bypass all that bullcrap, which means I have no problem not putting bits. Legal like. All legal. I'm breaking the house. I'm gonna track. I do all legal like though. Don't worry. Legal. I had to say that. Anyway, when you subnet a network, you are gonna be in a lot of business. Have fun with that. I just now remember why I didn't like doing that bullcrap. To start the process off, you can either get into a switch or a router as an ISP or the main server base. Then you have to go into the router configuration to configure the switch, and then you have to bypass the global configuration mode to set up the subnet. Then you set up the subnet, and then you set all each of those people or each section like a hospital or a business, a company, customers, and then blah blah blah. And then you have to perfectly designate it for them, just for them to get the best service. I don't mind if, like I said, when I used to never own a business for it, unless I was helping people run their business. I did a lot. But when I did it, I don't mind giving them the best service. But what I do mind is that when people try to screw me, and especially in my situation now, I know you know better. I know they know better, particularly. But anyway, that's basically how you do it. Usually to do this, you want another computer or a console computer or auxiliary or an object that purpose is designated for that, meaning it can't be hacked back. Yeah, I keep another object away from that, just in case I need to find hackers. Cassie says. Anyway, once you do all that finally set up, you need to hit interface config lines to make sure it accepts it save. Don't exit. Once you save it, you need to rehash it, recheck it, and then exit. And then check it again as a non-consumer to make sure the stuff is set up right. Subnetting. Craziness. It's gonna be more than what my notes have because I tell you what my personal experience on that stuff. Bye.